We are going to be doing something new on the channel. For some reason, a lot of videos have been popping up on me lately when it comes to the impact of me on the community, where I work, or things like that. First of all, there's a video saying I work at Starbucks. Not true. Don't work at Starbucks. I haven't worked there for like 4 years, so I don't know where that one came from. I did work at Starbucks when I was probably 16, I think I started. Saved up for an Alienware laptop. And that's where I originally started posting videos. And then after I made money making videos on my Alienware laptop, I bought a computer. And then I built my own computer just a couple months ago, which I've been using ever since. So just to squander any rumors about that there. As of right now, I do YouTube as my only job because it pays enough money. I have 3 channels that all separately have a decent community, hoping to grow the World of Tanks PC channel. That's my main ambition, and the GTA one, but obviously Blitz is still the main priority as it is my largest channel. So we're going to be taking a look at a video that has the most insane level of editing I've ever seen for a Blitz content creator. It's pretty good editing. Yeah, I don't know. We're just going to take a look at the video. I've already seen it once, so I'm just going to be talking about it. I think it's great.
No introduction.
Well, I would say you should watch it, but you're watching it here, so I guess just like check out his
3,000
channel.
videos and over 96,000 subscribers. He will definitely go down as one of the most famed.
Also, let me turn up the volume a bit. There we go.
People in Blitz.
I'll put it to
Before
like
we get to that,
70%.
I just want to be honest here and say that up until this video, I've never been a big fan of Droodles. That's not to say I dislike Droodles. No, just because I used them in an edit once does not mean I'm obsessed with it. Not to say I dislike Droodles. It's just I never watched them as a kid, and that hadn't changed until this video. So my first thought was to go look for the appeal of Droodles. What I found was kind of the opposite. Multiple headlines of stating what Droodles was like off camera, or is Droodles a bad face for the community to have. Paragraph.
Yeah, there are definitely a decent chunk of people who do not like my channel, and that is understandable. There are people that don't like that I complain about bad teams, and if you don't like that, you don't need to watch my content. That's what I always say. I mean, I am here to post videos, reviews, and talk about Blitz in the reality that it is. And if I'm dealing 3,000, 4,000 damage in a battle, and I have 5 teammates that don't break 1,000, I'm probably going to complain. And any person would in that situation, as long as they're not putting up a persona for YouTube. I try to keep the persona away, and I try to keep it as real as possible. Now, there are definitely moments of immaturity. In the past, I've had arguments with people, I've called people bad in game chat, which I generally try to refrain from doing now. I mean, occasionally I'll say, like, wow, this team sucks, but, I mean, that's just normal in general. The other reason some people don't like me is because of the fact I don't hold back when it comes to calling out other content creators. I have made a video on Meadsy's tier list calling out, in my opinion rightfully, why telling people to grind the 183 is a really bad decision. It's not a good tank for beginners. It's probably one of the worst, and I don't want newer players to get discouraged from playing the game because they suffered through the Tortoise, the AT-15A, the AT-2, all the way up to get a vehicle that they're not even going to do well in. I mean, sure, it hits hard, but if you only hit one shot a battle, you're probably not having all too much fun, and it just festers the problem that's already existing in the game, which is people going for tanks that they shouldn't be driving. I've called out Swetchman and talked about how he's given bad advice, and you know, a lot of people say it's for the money and it's for the views, but a lot of the drama videos don't even get more views than a meme video I make on the Sturm Tiger, which I did just a week ago, which already has more views than any of my drama videos. And I have a video on the Car 45 ton where I reskinned a car on the Caro, and both of those videos combined have more views than probably any of my drama videos. The reason I talk about other content creators if I disagree or agree with what they're saying is down to the fact that I feel that people should not be told incorrect stuff, and I base everything off of facts, off of statistics, which we'll break into more, but let's keep going in the video.
Paragraphs of why Droodles is a bad WotB YouTuber and why he needs to be shut down. And after a week of looking through the most obscure Reddit pages and Discord conversations, I finally come to a conclusion of what Droodles' impact on the Blitz community has been, and I'm prepared to share with you If I were to sum up the Blitz community in 2 words, it would be solar system. And I know and I realize how goofy that sounds, but I promise it will make sense. Blitz is a solar system with Angle as Jupiter, Joe as Saturn, and Droodles as the sun.
I don't know. You got to put Wargaming as the sun. I'll be the one next to I'll be Jupiter. I think that's the next largest one, right? Yeah.
What I mean by this is that Droodles isn't as much a part of the WotB community as he is the WotB community, dominating the tank review space. Unless you've had your head in the sand since the game was created, Droodles has always been here. He's this undefiable god in the sky that nobody can touch except maybe I can touch it. How did that make it into the final? Okay, what I'm trying to say here is that Droodles isn't some rinky-dink YouTuber that I'm just picking on for fun. No, Droodles is the main face of WotB on YouTube, and I think I'm justified in critiquing this man at least a little bit. Oh, not critiquing. I'm just looking at what he's done. And what he's done. Okay, so we've established that Droodles is the face of WotB YouTube, but I haven't really explained how he got there in the first place. What made him so popular and so beloved by everyone?
Well, we're about to find out, I guess.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another one of my videos.
These are some
Today,
old
we're going to be comparing the
videos.
T-34 Independence.
That actually might be my oldest video on the channel.
Takers, and
Oh, this one's great.
welcome to the channel. This is the Grave Nip.
In his quote-unquote early days, Droodles posted, well, tank reviews, and the reason I find that so surprising is that he's been doing the same thing for 5 years. And sure, these early videos haven't adapted the infamous yellow and white text for their thumbnails, but the general setup and layout of these videos have remained the same. He talks about the tank.
This is the Emil 1. It is a tier 8 Swedish tech.
He plays 2 battles in the tank to reaffirm what he said in the beginning.
This is actually a fairly new video, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
at least for me,
yeah, it has
Droodles
to be. Those are my new
is very
glasses.
bingeable. In fact, for the sake of this video, I sat down and committed myself to watch 100 Droodles videos.
Give me the
But not just that, I wish to study them. So I not only watched Droodles, I collected data on Droodles on Google spreadsheets.
That's a lot of data. This is a lot more effort than I would put into a video on me. Look how much data he put down. I said bonk quite a bit. I want to see the blaming. Yes, the blaming teammates. It should have been every single one. I'm surprised there's not more, to be honest. These are probably the ones where I don't blame teammates are probably the ones that I have videos where I've won, and the ones where I have lost are the ones where I don't. That's great. Hours later.
So after I watched 100 randomly selected Droodles videos, I began to tally the numbers up. And honestly, I couldn't really find anything notable. Nothing was standing out, and I was growing in concern. I don't know why Droodles is so popular, and the stats I gathered were just his catchphrases, like at Bonk at 87% in all his videos, Big Brain at 65% of all his videos, and Let's Be Real at 49% in all his videos. But there's no substance. I don't think people watch him to hear him say bonk.
Alright, so this is the part where I do think the video gets a little bit of information wrong. He's correct on his source and data, but he's going to talk about how live streams are the major reason on why my channel has a lot of viewers. And while live streams are great, and they're a fantastic way for me to be a little more real rather than my occasional video, I would definitely say the videos on the channel are they are the major reason why the channel took off and things like that. So, yeah, I post a lot of tank reviews. And in the tank reviews, there's a simple format that I created about maybe 5 years ago. Whenever I started posting, I realized that none of the Blitz content creators make live commentary. they do replays. You know, you watch Bushka, it's usually replays back in the day. You watch Martimator, Skate. Every single content creator posts replays. And I was like, well, I'm skilled enough that I don't need the post replays. And because of that, I can show how the tank plays live. That was the major thing that started giving me my own niche in the community, because nobody else did that. Nobody else was either skilled enough to play games live and show them. A lot of people always say I cherry pick. As I've said in the past, I do not cherry pick content. I have a Hori video coming out probably tomorrow where I lose 3 games in a row with 3,500 average. You know, when you average 3K plus in tier 10, you don't need to cherry pick your content. And that's usually what I like to show. And that's usually how it is. I play 2 games. I talk about the tank's capabilities while I play the battles. And the other thing is you have to make sure you're not talking about random gibberish, because it looks very easy to just sit there and talk about a tank in game, but you have to be able to do that while keeping your same average damage statistics and making sure that you're giving a proper review on the tank. That's usually the major thing that helped the channel. The other major thing was, and still is, updates. I am probably the only Blitz channel that has the most relevant news in the game. I have my own Discord server, and my friend Asen, who does all of the Blitz news, has like 11,000 different Discord servers. A lot of people don't even know that his Blitz news is associated with me, but basically I found Asen years ago and I saw the potential that he had, and this was when I was basically in rivalry with Pantoof, posting content to see who could get the fastest content out. And Asen was always the fastest to the draw, and I became friends with him. And now he has his own news channel, which is basically part of my channel. And he gives me all the information on news and updates like that. And I get the content out before even the CCs get it. And that took a while to do. It took a lot of tinkering, but that's where we are now. The way I get these special skins for vehicles is through him helping me. And that's basically the other reason, is I'm always the first to getting news out. My news is always accurate. And the final thing is that I don't talk about opinions as much as possible. Like, I try to keep opinions out of the equation when I talk about a tank's capabilities. If you ever see me make a review on a vehicle, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going over to BlitzStars and blitzanalysis.com. I'm taking a look at how the vehicle performs, so that way, even if I know I'm not doing well in it, I can see how 65%ers are doing in the vehicle, how 50%ers are doing in the tank, how people under 50% are. That way I can gauge an opinion on the skill level of the tank for certain people, the skill ceiling, the skill 4, and I can give an adequate review for a tank's capabilities. Because obviously, I'm not just making my reviews for people that are 65 and up. You know, usually when you watch Fatness, he's giving you the upper echelon of skill when it comes to reviews. But the thing is that the Blitz community is probably 15 years old, maybe even younger on average. And you have to make reviews that are not only enticing and enjoyable to watch, but you also have to make reviews that have skill, but also are understandable for people that might not understand all the mechanics of the game, things like that. So I always try to basically be a walking encyclopedia for the game. That is the reasons why I think the channel took off. I don't focus as much on pumping out news videos like I used to, because there's not too much competition. If there was competition again, I would start obviously posting immediately. I used to remember staying up till 4 in the morning every single Friday waiting for a tank to get released so I could beat the other YouTubers to making that video. Like, that's how dedicated I was to getting the content out. Nowadays, because I've already done the work and the channel's big enough, I already know that the review's going to do well, whether I post it now or I post it a little later. But that's the major reason why. I post a lot of content because I try my best to make sure people are informed on how to play the game. So that's usually why I say it took off. E100 gets bonked, and...
Or big brain. So
Big
I began to
brain.
become reckless. This video was already taking far
Off
too
to the
long.
side is another one I say
And
a
I
lot
needed
of.
to come up with a conclusion to why Droodles is so popular. Maybe
Bruh, why is your
just
your
because
plug
he
there?
posts so often. Or maybe it's
That's
just
great.
because, I don't know, he does tank reviews. I started asking around like I do in the WATB YT community, as I like to call it. And they came up with some answers. they said go check out his live streams. I didn't really feel like watching more Droodles content, especially with ones with AI covers on them, but I had no choice. And so I went into his live stream. I was only expecting to stay for 5 minutes, but then 5 minutes turned into 10, into 20, and then into 40, and after a while, it just sort of clicked for me. I got it. Droodles is popular because Droodles is Droodles. He doesn't hide behind some fake persona. No, he is completely comfortable with who and what he is, and he's like a grown-ass man yelling in a tank game.
Oh yeah.
That is definitely my type of humor.
The one thing I'll always say is that, and this is how people have to look at it from my perspective. Right now, I don't work a job outside of YouTube. And while Blitz is the main channel, and I'm obviously focusing on other channels, basically I treat World of Tanks Blitz like a job. That's why I have the game so passionate. That's why I get so sad when Wargaming release the skill-based matchmaking. That's why I get very disappointed when vehicles aren't balanced or my teammates are really, really bad over and over and over. Like, the average person is looking at this game, coming at it from, I play it for fun, or, you know, I just don't have to play it too much. But for me, I look at this equally as fun, but also a job. And because it is my job, this is what I do as of right now. It's what I've spent the last 5 years of my life doing. And I try to keep it as real as possible, and I try to show what these changes are doing to the game with my actual emotions. You know, when I'm getting mad, half the time it's for the memes. The other half, you know, if I'm having a really rough session, I had a session of my AIM XM4 that Inevitable made a meme on, and I was not having it. What an absolutely rough session. And, you know, it's just, it makes the game unenjoyable. So I treat it as my job, which I do. And that's usually why, that's why you get raw stuff. For my videos, I keep it to the tank review. I keep it lighthearted, talk about the tank, because I don't want to focus on calling teammates bad or this or that, because the review is mainly for the review, so you can get an idea of what to play. But when it comes to, obviously, live streams where I'm just playing and talking, that is when I can actually be real, and I can step outside of the reviews and talk about how I'm actually feeling and things like that.
In fact, there's a whole channel just dedicated to Droodles doing ragey, funny shit.
You're getting crapped on!
Oh my god, that's loud.
Once again, Wargaming is screwing me in the ass!
Funny shit. There's a bunch of stuff that just happens in Droodles streams that just catches you off guard. Like, he just talks about CNN or Trump, or these things have nothing to do with Blitz, which all other WotB streamers never waver from. Droodles does. And I think that's what separates him. That and the consistent tank reviews, being on top of updates, just make for a cocktail of a character here, and that is what I think has made Droodles push to 96,000 subscribers. So now that we understand why Droodles is so popular and gets so many views, we can now understand the elephant in the room, so to speak. It's the very thing I've been...
Bro, he actually went into a training room and picked out the elephant. You should have used WotB Joe's thumbnail. It had the elephant.
For the past
he put
5 minutes into this video. It's probably the reason why you've clicked on this video.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's because of the darker nature of Droodles.
There's a decent chunk of people that probably clicked on this video trying to hate on me, which is funnier because it's not actually hate video.
Or something like that, but I'm not one to do that. Not here. I'm gonna try to take a non-biased approach, which is usually impossible, especially for me, but I'll do my best. Droodles has made some off-screen controversies, which include the following: spamming L, you know, just really childish stuff, maybe racist things. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a bunch of other stuff that Droodles has said. Go watch this guy's video if you want to learn more. But the general consensus is that Droodles is just really immature. Like, really immature. But do you see the problem with that sentence I just said? You see, I can't really call Droodles immature when he's literally older than me. With that aside, I want to debunk some Droodles hate propaganda going.
I can't really get too mad when people say I'm immature because, I mean, I've only just turned 21, and I still obviously have some flaws in my character that I would like to fix. However, as I usually point out, most of it is usually just me calling somebody bad. I mean, the beef that people tried to make of me being quote-unquote racist was literally the dumbest thing ever. I mean, Meadsy and I talked about it on a live stream. I don't even know why people got so mad about it. I literally said speak Spanish on the NA server because I didn't understand what the person was saying. And then it turned into like this, oh, let's get Droodles banned, which it's just, that was really dumb. And it was a dumb thing I said, but, like, it's not racist. It really wasn't that deep. And there's been nothing else that anybody has pulled up on me about that. I mean, people have, typed fake messages. There's been people that have made accounts that have an I instead of an L and tried to say things, but none of it is true. I do not stand for racism whatsoever. Just the other day, I was in a quick tournament server, and one of the smaller content creators, Megaline, was getting called some things, and I went in there and literally pointed out how racism is not cool, and if you think it is, you're literally just the most immature person ever. My immaturity usually comes to just getting mad. I have ADHD, and it usually takes me a second to think before I say something, and I'll usually just type it out before I'm thinking. And because of that, I'll get angry and I'll think, oh man, this team sucks, and I'll message that person and say, you suck. That's usually what people don't like me for. I can understand part of it. But yeah, that's usually what the main thing is.
One of which is that Droodles is always wrong on his statistics, and this couldn't be further from the truth. In all my 100 video study, I could not find a single Droodles video which I inherently disagreed with.
Yeah, this is something I always find interesting about people. There's a lot of people out there that in the comments say, oh, Droodles, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that. And usually I try to make the most unbiased videos possible. Martimator absolutely tries hating on my tier lists because I put every tank in good. When I do my tier list, I'm ranking it specifically on its own. If you were to make a tier list on the 5 cutest dogs, and you had 5 super cute dogs in front of you, you could put them all into the super cute category and have none of them in the ugly category, which would be F tier. And that's the same thing for Blitz. If you're looking at tanks that are capable, if you have a Minnow, and it's a really strong tank, it's the #1 performer in the game, it's going all the way up there and super good. And then if you arrive to an E100, if you compare a Minnow to an E100, they're almost uncomparable. One's a TD, one's a heavy tank. And I personally don't like to compare vehicles unless they are similar, like an E100 or a VK72. But for the most part, if you're making a tier list and you're comparing a Boss Chatillon 25-ton to an E100, or vehicles that just don't mix match, then you're doing the list wrong. Each tank should be ranked individually on their capabilities in the battlefield. You don't know what tanks you're going to fight every game, and you can't base it upon that. So I do them individual, and that's why I usually have a lot of the tanks in the upper end rather than the lower end. And that's the exact same thing for my tank reviews when either a new vehicle comes out or a premium gets released. I usually only try to look at the good things, and then I'll see if they outweigh the bad things. For example, the Shrek TVP was just released, and I think the Shrek is absolutely amazing. It's got high DPM, incredible accuracy, and it's got really good mobility, plus good camouflage. Its weakness is really bad armor. That's it. And I guess low alpha. It's like 310. Everything else about the tank is really good. And if you use the tank properly, it's fantastic. Now, if you're maybe a 40%er and you don't know how to use it properly, then I wouldn't recommend to play it. But you should know that coming into the gate when you see it has literally 0 armor, especially when that's pointed out in the video. It doesn't mean it tank's bad if the average player can't do well in it. The average player is not going to do well in a Leopard 1 or an Object 140. But you'll see some of the most skilled players in the game call them absolutely amazing and one of the best tanks you can drive out there. So every tank has its own place, and if you know how to drive it properly, you can do well in them. So that's why I generally refrain from calling vehicles bad.
Man knows his tanks, and he knows his stats, and he always goes to Blitz stars to make sure he's in the right. On camera, Droodles has 0 controversies and...
Meadsty.
And what was that?
Meadsty 69.
Oh, those barely count, dude. Come on.
It counts.
Oh, I don't want to discuss those.
Do it.
Okay, fine. We'll make it its own part. It's gonna be part 3, right? Ready? 3, 2, 1. You see, just because Droodles is always right in his tank stats, he thinks he has a moral obligation to call out other Blitz YouTubers, which, I don't know, is debatable. And Meadsty does not take kindly to this, so they've fought before. They've made videos about each other. Go check them out here. And this keeps on happening. Droodles keeps on calling out other content creators about Blitz. Happy, recently Swetchman. If you dislike Droodles, it's probably because he's called out your favorite Blitz content creator. Whether you think it's either he's actually doing it out of moral obligation or he's just doing it for views, and if it's the latter, then I really don't know what to say. I would love to say, hey, Droodles, that's very not nice of you to call other people like that. But on the other hand, I love when stuff like this happens, bro. It's just drama.
As I said before, and this was way earlier in the video, the major reason I will call out a YouTuber, and it takes me a while to come up with the courage to do it, because I don't like to, people think I like drama. That's just how I am. I'm sadistic. But no, I don't like to cause drama. I mean, Meadsy and I were friends. I don't think he likes me anymore. I've tried to talk to him, but he won't message me. But Meadsy and I were friends. Happy and I are still chill. We've talked just a couple weeks ago. And, Canavra made a video hating on me, and then it turned out that we both became friends, and we're super chill now, and we've done 2 live streams together. If people get to know me, they usually end up liking me, and we're chill. But the thing is that sometimes when I see a video that's really, really bad, and it's wrong, like... As I brought up before the Meadsy video, everybody tries to say I made it just to hate on Meadsy, which just isn't true. The video had nothing to do with Meadsy at all. It had to do with his opinions and why I disagreed with them. The internet is made for you to share your opinions. And the same reason that people are allowed to hate on me in the comments section is the same reason I'm allowed to share my opinion, If you post your opinion online, I think it's fair game for anybody else to critique your opinions online. Like, that's the whole point of the internet. Anybody is fair game to go into my YouTube section and say, hey, Droodles, this video sucks because of this X, Y, and Z. And if you have proper reasoning why and statistics, then why shouldn't you call me out? I'm in the wrong. But if you as a YouTuber have 20, 30,000 subs and you are getting thousands of views a video, and World of Tanks Blitz is one of those games where it's very easy to delude people into doing something wrong, I try to tell people what is right, what is wrong, and the case behind that. In the case of Swetchman, he was just stating a bunch of things that were wrong, blatant clickbait. He made a ground tank video that was a couple weeks ago, and he literally said it's bigger than the mouse and resized the tank in the thumbnail so that it looked bigger than the mouse, even though the vehicle's smaller than the mouse. And again, it's just blatant clickbait. And when I see things like that, the content creator doesn't care about the viewers. He just wants the views, I don't like that. I don't think it's good for the game, and I'd rather see people that are sharing true opinions and thoughts.
It's gossip, and it's fun, and it's a sin, but whatever. I think I've discussed everything about Droodles. I guess the only decision left to make is, what is Droodles Blitz's impact on this community? What has he provided for us? And when I look across the Blitz community, Droodles is one of the only OG content creators left. Like, there's Joe, there's Angle, there's probably a bunch I'm forgetting, Yoda Skywalker. Yeah. It's clear he's passionate about the game because he makes 2 videos a day. Oh, and he has 2 other channels, by the way. Here they are. But it's...
You couldn't find it? You stinker. You just type in Burning Peak and it pops up.
It's crazy to think that Droodles would be the one who didn't fall off, and he's still here today, and he's still making tank reviews, and I just have to respect the man just for doing that. And with that, I think the impact of Droodles is that he just makes a lot of tank reviews, and he's pretty funny, depending how you see funny, in his streams, and he's pretty controversial. And those 3 things is what makes Droodles one of the most hardest working would-be content creators on this platform. And that alone is what gained the respect from me to him. He doesn't need my respect, he needs yours. And frankly, you need him. And that alone is the impact of Droodles Blitz.
I actually think this video was really, really good. I would definitely subscribe to this guy if you haven't. I think it's honestly fantastic. Yeah, I've definitely gotten in the drama as a quick recap, and if I have said stupid things, yeah, I probably have, and I apologize if any of you've gotten mad over that. When it comes to complaining about teams, honestly, that's probably not going to change. And if you don't like that I'm rightfully saying, oh, I did 4,000 damage and the skill-based matchmaking gave me 5 40%ers and I lost, then maybe you shouldn't be watching me or any reviewer, and you should be sticking to things like What Be Joe and laughing, because At the end of the day, I try to keep the channel real, but I also try to make it informative and give everybody the most honest reviews on the platform. I try, whenever a new tank comes out, I'll post my initial review on it, like the BZ75. I mean, people were memeing on why I posted like 5 or 6 BZ75 videos, and it was because I kept having my opinions change on the vehicle, and I try to keep people informed and updated on how my thoughts go on a vehicle. Because if I say a tank is really good, and then I end up not liking it, I don't want people to think that I still think it's good, because it might not be. So if I make another video saying, okay, I'm not doing too well in the tank right now, I'm going to keep playing it and get my ideas, then I want people to be updated. Because at the end of the day, when a new tank comes out, you only have a day or so to get that video out before other content creators are going to. And it is a time crunch. At the end of the day, you have to get videos out on deadline. So I always try to keep everybody as informed as possible. Even if I don't do well in a tank when it first comes out, I'll still try to see if it's good or bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ranting, maybe I'm just yapping, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see more like it, you know what to do. Bye-bye.